Good afternoon, children. In the previous class, you have understood that Mrs. Plug and her family went for a journey. It was a voyage. Voyage is a journey or travel in a ship. So they were going in a trip. You can see Mr. Plug is holding one child and Mrs. Plug also holding Master Plug. So you understood this story up to this much, and we can go to the next part. Then one night a terrible thing happened. There was a storm. The ship hit a rock. A hole appeared in its side. The water poured in. So you can see the ship in a sea. You can see huge tides in the sea. What is tide, children? In the ocean or in the sea, you can see huge tides. These are the tides. Okay, that you can see the ship in that sea. Then one night, it was a night, they started their journey, and you already saw that they in that sea icebergs were there. They went through northern seas and southern seas, and you understood what is icebergs also. And here a terrible thing happened. Again one terrible thing, something happened. There was a storm. Storm means strong wind. Storm. Okay. The ship hit a rock. Have you heard about a ship Titanic, children? Titanic also a huge ship. In 1912, a luxury ship named Titanic struck on an iceberg and sank in the ocean. Nearly 2,500 passengers were there. More than 1,500 people lost their lives. And ship hit a rock. A hole appeared in its side. The water poured in. What happened if there is a hole in the ship? That water will get inside the ship. Then it will sink. Okay. Look at the next page. Help, help. The people shouted. They ran about in their nighties and pyjamas. We will all be drowned. The captain looked at the hole. I think we need a plumber, he said. Send for Mrs. Plug. When Mrs. Plug was sent for, Mrs. Plug came. So did Mr. Plug and the little plugs. So did the useful bag. So you can see in this picture, Mrs. Plug is running on the duck. Help, help! The people shouted. They ran about in their nighties and pyjamas. It was a night, so all were ready to sleep. They came in their nighties and pyjamas. We will all be drowned. The captain looked at the hole. I think we need a plumber, he said. Send for Mrs. Plug. He knows Mrs. Plug is there in the ship. When Mrs. Plug was sent for, Mrs. Plug came. So did Mr. Plug and the little plugs. So did the useful bag. Mrs. Plug came, her husband came, and the little plugs also came there. And then she came with her useful bag. Up to this much you want to read it. Read 2 or 3 times. After that you record the voice and send to me.